today we wanted to talk about this book, The Alchemist. So good. So I've heard about this book for a long time, and makes sense because even Bill Clinton read the book. You know what I'm saying? So it's been around for like 25 years, and I had been hesitant to read it because there's so many other books that I read. And then his sister, Summer, was reading it, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to dive in. So I can have someone to talk about it as well, besides the two of us, since Summer's also reading it. And let me tell you, I loved it. Did you love it?
Yeah, we couldn't finish it fast enough.
Yeah, we got it yesterday, started it last night for our bedtime story, and finished it this morning. Really good.
Yeah, there's so many quotable things in there.
Yeah, it's definitely, whoa. I don't know what just happened. I just saw something flash across the screen.
That's funny.
There's a lot of like little wisdom of nuggets. There's a lot of stories in here, and it's basically a story. It's not a typical self-help book where it tells you anything to do. It doesn't give you any, right? Would you say?
Yeah,
There's no advice, no anything. It's basically what you read and how you take it away. So I wanted to share one of the stories that we thought was based. Go ahead.
I was like, it encompasses the entire book on a high level, and then it just gets much better from there.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, nothing to be sorry for. Okay. So he's talking to the king of Salem, and he says, "Before I go, I want to tell you a little story. A certain shopkeeper sent his son to learn about the secret of happiness from the wisest man in the world. The lad wandered through the desert for 40 days and finally came upon a beautiful castle. High atop a mountain, it was there that the wise man lived. Rather than finding a saintly man, though, our hero, on entering the main room of the castle, saw a hive of activity. Tradesmen came and went, people were conversing in the corners, a small orchestra was playing soft music, and there was a table covered with platters of the most delicious food in that part of the world. The wise man conversed with everyone, and the boy had to wait for 2 hours before it was his turn to be given the man's attention. The wise man listened attentively to the boy's explanation of why he had come, but told him that he didn't have time just then to explain the secret of happiness. He suggested that the boy look around the palace and return in 2 hours. Meanwhile, I want to ask you to do something, said the wise man, handing the boy a teaspoon that held 2 drops of oil. As you wander around, carry this spoon with you without allowing the oil to spill. The boy began climbing and descending the many stairways of the palace, keeping his eyes fixed on the spoon. After 2 hours, he returned to the room where the wise man was. Well, asked the wise man, did you see the Persian tapestries that are hanging in my dining hall? Did you see the garden that it took the master gardener 10 years to create? Did you notice the beautiful parchments in my library? The boy was embarrassed and confessed that he had observed nothing. His only concern had been not to spill the oil that the wise man had entrusted to him. Then go back and observe the marvels of my world, said the wise man. You cannot trust a man if you don't know his house. Relieved, the boy picked up the spoon and returned to his exploration of the palace, this time observing all of the works of art on the ceilings and the walls. He saw the gardens, the mountains all around him, the beauty of the flowers, and the taste with which everything had been selected. Upon returning to the wise man, he related in detail everything he had seen. But where are the drops of oil I entrusted to you? Asked the wise man. Looking down at the spoon he held, the boy saw that the oil was gone. Well, there is only one piece of advice I can give you, said the wisest of wise men. The secret of happiness is to see all the marvels of the world and never to forget the drops of oil on the spoon. The shepherd said nothing. He had understood the story the old king had told him. A shepherd may like to travel, but he should never forget about his sheep. The old man looked at the boy and, with his hands held together, made several strange gestures over the boy's head. Then, taking his sheep, he walked away.
So good.
Yeah. How come you like that story so much?
Well, I feel like it illustrates like the extremes. Like you either you focus just on the task at hand, or you focus too much on taking it all in. And you still need to get your stuff done, but you still need to take it in. Mm-hmm. You can't do just one or the other.
Yeah. Yeah. And for me, like there were so many takeaways about this book, but one of the biggest for me is to really be present in the moment and keep whatever your heart's telling you want to do, listen to it and respect it and honor it, even through the challenges, because there will be challenges. But if you're creative and you stay true to listening to your heart, you'll get through it. And really be present and make the present better, right? So when you're in the present, make it better and just cultivate love. So those are my big takeaways. What were your big takeaways?
I don't know. I feel like there's so many things to contemplate in this book. It's crazy. I listened to it via live audiobook from Stephanie. She read it out loud, and I listened to it from her reading, and it was fantastic. Makayo got to listen. I don't know how much he listened to, but he got to listen because it was part of it. So
yeah, he listened to at least an hour last night and quite a bit this morning. So yeah, it was really good. I definitely recommend getting this book. We ordered it on Amazon, but I'm sure it's at any bookstore that you go to. It's definitely one that you'll leave feeling inspired and encouraged to move through your obstacles and stay true to who you are, and know that they call it your personal legend, right? So, and everybody has a different personal legend, right?
Yeah.
And
I feel like they talk about taking action, and the shepherd, the main boy in the story, he's a man of action.
Yes.
And he encounters a lot of people that had big dreams and they wanted to do big things. They just never.
They never did their dream, though, because
they never did their dream.
They wanted to keep their dream and not actually realize it. So let me ask you, when you think about your dream that you have, that keeps you up at night, or you daydream a little bit, or whatever's kind of pulling at you, are you willing to see that dream achieved? Or do you want to keep that dream because the dream itself is what gives you purpose, and completing it would take away your purpose? So what kind of person are you? What camp do you fall in? For me, I want to achieve my dreams and move through the obstacles, because to me, just living life and loving and just feeling the life experiences is purpose. You know, in a sense, like, it doesn't have to be just this dream that I never achieved to inspire me to keep living. Like, life inspires me enough, and the dream is just the bonus. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. It does make sense.
What camp
I
are
was
you
like
in?
waiting for them to respond.
What camp are you in?
I really think you do have to just feel it as you go. It's just so many times.
No, do you want to achieve your dream, or do you not want to achieve your dream?
Oh, yeah. I definitely want to achieve my dream. And hey, who's that?
It's me, Daddy.
Oh, well, you look quite awesome,
Hey,
bud.
cutie.
Hi.
And I think sometimes I get too scared, and maybe sometimes like, oh, it might happen, so I'm not going to do it. So I think that's a scary thing, because you'll have such huge change in your life if it did happen. So
yeah. So you're not as active to pursuing your dream as you'd like to, because of the fear. Where I just am going to truck forward and follow my heart even through the fear. And I think that's one of the ways we're different, but we also help support each other and encourage each other, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
so
I'm working to be more active.
Yes, you are. You really are. So bottom line, go check out this book, add it to your collection. It's definitely a keeper. You can reread it. I think it's worth rereading. Like, I'm definitely going to reread it. And it's a quick read. Like I said, got it yesterday, and I read it out loud. So I read the entire book out loud to Keoni and Makayo. So it's definitely, maybe 5 hours of reading out loud.
Yeah, maybe.
Give or take a few, depending on how many times you stop to be like, oh, that was so good. I got goosebumps, you know, and talking about it. So I think it just depends on how often you stop to process what you just read, which we did several times throughout the book. Seriously, so many nuggets of wisdom in here. And I would be really surprised if you didn't get inspired to live a more fuller life after reading this book.
Yeah, it was a great book.
So I'm going to apply what I read to myself. How about you? You gonna apply
Yes,
some?
I am.
Okay.
I am.
Fantastic. Anything else you want to say?
No, that's it.
Okay, then awesome. Thanks for joining. Have a fantastic day. And if you have a book that you think is a life changer, let me know in the comments because y'all know I love reading. And I absolutely loved this book. So until next time, toodaloo.
Toodaloo.
And this is Keoni.
Hello.
Bye. You gotta scoot up your leg.
Am I too
Always
far?
trying to sit behind me.
I'm way in the back.
Okay.
There you go.